A lot of people are not aware of who this guy is. Okay, this guy. Now I'm going to tell you his name. His name is late Brigadier General Victor Banjo. Now this guy, due to his role in the January coup of 1966, due to his role, now the then Ironsi government, arrested him and imprisoned him. Now it so happened that this guy was in prison somewhere in the east in Enugu. And then when the civil war started, when Biafra declared its independence on 30th of May 1967, what really happened was that the then head of state of Biafra, in the person of General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, or rather in those days, Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, he released this guy from prison because they were friends in the Nigerian military. He released him from prison, and then this guy, although he was from the western region, he pledged to serve under Ojukwu, to fight for the Biafran side during the Nigerian Civil War. But then the western region was part of Nigeria at the time. They fought for Nigeria, but this guy was from the west, but he didn't fight for Nigerian side. He fought for the Biafran side. And then the remarkable thing about this guy is that he was the one that led the Midwestern invasion that started on the 9th of August 1967. Now, when this invasion started, if you have watched my other videos, I spoke about a press conference Ojukwu had in June of 1967, when Ojukwu mentioned that the people on the other side will be surprised to what they're going to get. And he is confident that the civil war will not last very long. Now, when he made that statement, he was talking about this invasion that Victor Banjo led from the 9th of August. And then they went from Onitsha, entered Asaba, and took over Benin in less than a day. They took over Benin and they continued to head upwards. They continued to head until they got to Ore, a town called Ore. They were in part of the western region already. And if they had continued that journey in less than a day, they would get to Lagos and eventually take over Lagos. Who knows? But somehow, nobody knew what happened because this guy never wrote a book about anything explaining his own side of the story. And then when Victor Banjo leading those troops, that division that that went for that operation, when he got to a town called Ore, okay, he stopped. And for some reason, no one knew what happened exactly because there were many different versions of different stories that was told by different people as to what happened. Okay, but the principal actors never really told us what happened because they did not stay alive for long to be able to narrate to history and to posterity what really happened. So what really happened was that back from that Ore, the federal forces came together, created the second division of the Nigerian army that was commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Murtala Mohammed. And then they counterattacked, and from there the Biafran forces kept on retreating. They came back to Benin, they kept retreating, back to Asaba, they kept retreating, and finally they crossed the bridge, they crossed the Niger River, came back to Onitsha and blew the bridge. And now this guy, he came back to the Republic of Biafra, I mean the person of Victor Banjo, Brigadier Victor Banjo. He came back to Enugu in those days, and then after different investigations, it was discovered that he was part of the plot to overthrow the then head of state, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. And then Victor Banjo, Emaifa Ajuna, Sam Abam, and Philip Alel, 4 of them were arrested, court-martialed, and they were executed shortly before Enugu fell on September 1967. Know your history. Let me come and be going.